Greetings in the mighty name of, I'm not even going to say it, people. There was a young girl in the community that I live in. A lot of the young people were Christians. We grew up in a community, with farmers and stay home mothers or wives, you know, community driven environment. At the churches, there were so many churches in our community. They were packed on Sundays. And some of these churches had fasting and prayer and Wednesday night meeting and all that stuff. But from what I can remember, a lot of these churches, the girls would be there fasting, and during the fasting and prayer, a lot of women would breathe. A lot of these young girls, these young teenagers would just breathe. Seemed like I started associating fasting and prayer with just breathing. And over the years, I would look and think to myself, wow, what hypocrisy. And a lot of these families would hide the truth that their loved ones were pregnant by sending them away. Anyway, I always thought at that time, people are so fake. People are so weird. People do all kinds of things that they say is bad, but they still do it anyway. And when they do it, they cover up the fact that they do it. They don't really confess. They don't really come out and say, I used to think this way and I acted this way. They don't really make it known. They continue to allow you to think that they're perfect. And then they still judge other persons who are not. Now, let me segue into today's topic. Because for years, I've always said to myself, why is it that, and I'm not saying having sex and getting pregnant as a teenager is a bad thing. That's not the point I'm trying to make here. But I always say to myself, why is it that people pronounce certain things to be evil if they know that they're not going to be able to avoid doing that evil? Because I don't think anybody told these individuals that they're going to hell except for the text that is given to them. And if they really believe it, if they really truly deeply believe that if they did these particular things they would go to hell, then I don't think they would have done it. Because unless you're wicked to yourself to think that if I do this particular thing I'm going to die, you wouldn't do it. For example, if you know within yourself that if you step out in front of a vehicle and it hits you, the possibility of you succumbing to that injury is very strong. So you won't really find people deliberately or carelessly stepping out in front of a moving vehicle unless they had, that kind of wish. So why do we keep on doing terrible things to ourselves and to other folks? And the bigger question would be, why does it seem like terrible things happen to people, and then there's always a group of people who continuously do the same awful things to other people and seem to be getting away? I think we get stuck on this too. Let's say if you're in a relationship, whether it be a man or a woman, and you look and you see how someone literally pulled your heart out of your chest. It seemed that way, the way you feel, like someone broke your heart. And when you look, you see that same person go on and they seem happy. You're heartbroken and they're moving around in life and they're happy and they seem to have moved along, moved ahead with their life. Someone steal from you. Someone tell a lie on you. Someone, tarnish your image. Someone cause you to lose your job. Just imagine any of the worst things that you could possibly think of. These individuals do it and they seem to be getting away with it. And we get stuck on that and we're so hurt and we're so wounded and we can't move on from that point because we're like, look what you did to me and you got away with it. These persons are so, wicked and they keep getting away with these things. And recently I have been looking at this differently. And I'm saying to myself, while I'm stuck thinking that people did me wrong, and got away with it. If I had stopped for a moment to understand, and I don't want to say karma, but if I understood that it's our actions um, are like a scale, like measurement on a scale, and whatever you put on it, it tips the scale, whether it's balance or imbalance. The equilibrium is out of unity, if I can use that word, or you waste so much time thinking, oh my goodness, he or she got away with what they did to me. But they didn't get away. They won't get away. Some of us don't have the patience to wait. Sometimes we're thinking because we didn't hear the end of that person that they got away. If you were a fly on their wall, if you could ever see the agony, the pain that some of these individuals are going through, you steal someone's house and you can't live in it. That is a great punishment. And people say, you steal my boyfriend or you steal my girlfriend. First of all, nobody can do that. But I understand what you're saying. And that person, run off with someone that you loved. And you're thinking they're living, in fantasy land. And years later, when you hear their story or hear how things end up for them, in a way, you're like, oh my, I wasted all this time feeling angry about what you did to me, because most times what they did, it's a blessing. Now, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be hurt or you shouldn't feel certain emotion because of what folks do to you, but please understand that those persons are only used or only brought to your life to do a particular thing in order to get you to a particular place. So whatever you perceive to be terrible or to be very painful or hurtful that someone have done to you, the only reason why those particular individuals were able to do it to you is because, of course, there was an opening. This individual had a particular opening that the universe understood that it could use that person to teach you that lesson or to bring you to that new awakening. I see things happening now, and I'm saying to myself, whoa, wow. And for a long time, I would see certain individuals or seem like they're invincible because they're doing things forever. And it just seemed there was no retribution. There was no penalty for the wrongs that they were doing. Be patient. It's easier said than done. Easier said than done. Be patient, though. And understand that if you are the one who enjoys victimizing other people, please understand that the choice you make to go out and change people's life in adverse ways, to change person's life for what would seem like for the worst, it's never really for the worst. There's always a lesson in everything. But do you think you get away? You'll never get away. And the individuals who are hurting, who feel like, look what this one or that one did to me, and look how this person hurt me, and you'll get over. Be patient. Be patient. Because when their day of reckoning comes, you might actually feel sorry for them. Be careful with that too. Don't feel too sorry for people who have done harm to you, but you should never celebrate it either. You're thinking that these folks or these individuals are so wonderful, so powerful, so mighty. And the ones that they always do things to and get away are weak or weakened. Think about that. Their day of reckoning is coming, and you're going to stand and watch. So like the people who are tarrying in the church and claiming that they're doing so, to get closer to God. Understand the bad things that people are doing in the world to themselves or to other people is kind of tiring for them to receive the penalty that they deserve. Stay blessed, everyone.